Welcome to NarrativeNook where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
If I'm in a foul mood, then forget it. I'm not lifting a finger to help. Maureen hadn't expected to be at her mercy, feeling frustrated yet compelled to call her son. Meredith had been spoiled rotten since childhood, a classic rich brat, living a life of leisure and luxury, spending money like it was going out of style. At the moment, he was in the middle of a card game. I won. I've won again. He tossed his cards onto the table with glee, as the others around him groaned in dismay. Meredith, your luck today is just insane. If you keep this up, we're all gonna go broke. Seriously. Give us a break, will you? The voices of his high society buddies echoed over the phone. If you don't come back now, you can kiss goodbye to 3 million of your inheritance from your dad. Maureen hit him right where it hurt. What 3 million? The entire fortune is mine. Who dares to take a penny away from me? Who? It's a long story, but if you want to keep living the high life and have money, you better come home, and the sooner the better. Otherwise, it's not just the 3 million that's at stake. The whole Brooks family will be dragged through the mud, and future business is going to be a lot tougher. Scandals like these would surely make some partners reconsider their ties. Meredith cursed under his breath but ultimately had no choice but to return. 6 p.m. Maureen, all smiles and feigning elegance, stood alongside her husband at the entrance of the restaurant, greeting friends and relatives. She was taken aback to realize her husband had booked the entire ground floor. Once the guests started trickling in, she sneakily pinched her husband's arm. This is when we need to be careful with money. Catherine's 3 million debacle is still up in the air, and here you are splurging, it's just wasteful. She had thought a couple of tables would suffice to show their status, but no, her husband had gone all out, booking 30 tables and even inviting the old neighbors. Carol and Dennis returning safely is a cause for a grand celebration. I've neglected them for too many years. Tonight, this welcome home feast should not be confused with Catherine's compensation. They are entirely different matters. Rudolph said with a gentleman's smile as he saw more guests arriving. Please come inside. They're exactly the same. They're both your daughters. You're willing to spend so much on the kids from your ex-wife, but you begrudge Catherine 3 million. That's Catherine's mess she got herself into. She needs to cough up the money she earned through dirty means to pay them back. Whatever's missing, as her father, I am willing to cover. After all, it's our fault for not raising her right and letting her make mistakes. You, on the other hand, can't seem to swallow your pride and have her apologize publicly. Wow, so now you've got Carol and Dennis, and you're ready to throw Catherine and Meredith to the wolves, pushing the kids to embarrass themselves in front of everyone. That's a new one. You can greet the guests on your own. I'm going inside, Maureen stormed off, fuming. Maureen. Rudolph, knowing he would get nowhere with her, resigned himself to welcoming the incoming guests alone against the chilly breeze. Once all the guests had arrived, Rudolph took to the stage and expressed his gratitude to everyone present. Thank you all for carving time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. I have an announcement to make. The assembled guests turned their attention towards him, eyes alight with curiosity and anticipation, as if they all were curious about what he would announce next. As many of you may recall, the disappearance of my kids with my ex-wife Dennis and Carol shook our world. After years of searching to no avail, they have miraculously returned home safe and sound. I couldn't contain such joy and felt the need to share this wonderful news. I apologize for the impromptu nature of this gathering and for not sending out invitations in advance. Your presence here is deeply appreciated, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for joining us on such short notice. The idea that, after so many years, the siblings had come back was both astonishing and unexpected, sparking a wave of excited chatter among the guests. Rudolph beckoned Carol and Dennis to the stage. Allow me to introduce my son, Dennis Brooks, he said, patting Dennis's shoulder proudly before turning to Carol, and this is my daughter, Carol. After all these years, they've grown into such fine young adults. Who would have thought we'd see a family reunion after a dozen years? And here I was, worried that Rudolph and Maureen's spoiled son would be an embarrassment. But look at Dennis, there's hope for the Brooks family yet. Indeed, and Carol looks so poised and elegant. A breath of fresh air compared to that pretentious Catherine. I wonder who took them in and raised them to be so well-mannered and attractive. They've certainly inherited Rudolph and his ex-wife's good looks. Maureen and Catherine, overhearing the whispers and comparisons, seethed with indignation. If it weren't for saving that hefty sum of $3 million to keep up appearances, they would never have agreed to let Rudolph host this banquet and let everyone know about Carol and Dennis's return. Suddenly, a voice cut through the murmurings, emanating from the speakers. You must tell me, why did you want her dead? I'm risking my neck for you here, at least let me die knowing why. Why was it so important for you to run her over? The guests were confused. Had the wrong audio been played? Upbeat music was supposed to follow, not this. Maureen's voice soon followed. Fine, I'll tell you. Only with Simona Temple gone can I become the lady of the Brooks family. Just do as I instructed, run her over. The 100 grand down payment is already in your account, and the remaining will be transferred from a different account once it's done. The guests were slowly realizing whose voice it was, their eyes turning towards Maureen at the head table. Initially, Maureen had brushed off the male voice as a line from a movie, but upon hearing her own voice, the gravity of the situation dawned on her. Tomorrow, Simona and her sister, Celeste Temple, are taking their families to the amusement park. Find your moment. And don't say I didn't warn you. Make it look tragic. Maureen's voice continued from the speakers. She must be dead on spot. The more brutal, the better. The male driver sounded fearful. If the cops trace it back to me, my family. Your family knows nothing. And with you gone, there'll be no witnesses. Don't worry. I've got it all planned out. No one will ever find out. Everyone will think it was just a tragic accident. The male driver was still uneasy. If I die, how will I know you've transferred the remaining to my account? You're putting your life on the line for me. Do you really think I'd be so heartless, so utterly despicable as to shortchange you that 900 grand? Isn't your life worth more than that? I promised you the money, and you'll get it, just do as I say. The male driver seemed to waver. Your illness is a millstone around your family's neck. Do you really want them to live in debt and struggle after you're gone? I'll be eternally grateful for you taking care of my problem. I swear on my heart, the 900 grand is yours. Finally, she convinced the driver, and he agreed to the deal. Rudolph watched in disbelief from the audience as Maureen sat at the front table. He never imagined that the gentle and understanding woman he met for the first time could have such a terrifying side. Back when his ex-wife was hit by a truck and landed in the ICU, he hadn't even known Maureen. So, his meeting Maureen, getting to know her, and eventually standing by her side, it was all orchestrated by her? Rudolph staggered back. It was you hired someone to kill my sister. Celeste stood up in disbelief, trembling as she pointed at Maureen across the table. My sister didn't even know you. She had no ill feelings toward you. No, it wasn't me. This audio is fabricated by someone else to slander me. As Maureen spoke, realization dawned on her, and she looked in disbelief towards Dennis and Carol on the stage. It was you plotted this whole dinner just to throw dirt on me. At that moment, the giant screen on stage lit up, showing all the evidence of Maureen's involvement in the hiring of the hitman, and her later denial of the act. Now with irrefutable proof, Rudolph was overwhelmed with grief and anger. He rushed down the stage and slapped Maureen hard across the face. Maureen was stunned, unable to believe the husband who had once adored and spoiled her could hit her in front of so many people. I'll kill you, Celeste, stricken with grief, rushed forward, grabbing an empty bowl and a dish from the table and smashing them onto Maureen's head. What are you doing? Catherine and her brother Meredith were terrified. Catherine tried to intervene, while Meredith hid to the side, fearing he'd be caught in the crossfire. You heartless wretch, I'll kill you. Celeste clutched Maureen's hair, tearing out clumps of the carefully styled locks. If it wasn't for you, our car wouldn't have been hit, my sister wouldn't have been crippled, and my brother-in-law wouldn't have rushed to the ICU in a panic, neglecting the kids for a moment. It's all because of you. Alja Temple was also enraged. If not for all this, their only daughter Crystal would still be alive. Simona's family charged forward, raining blows and kicks on Maureen. Maureen's family tried to pull them off, and chaos erupted throughout the venue. Just then, the giant screen lit up again. The secret of Maureen's discontent with the driver's family pestering her for years, and her hidden dealings with a hitman, was exposed for all to see. Before anyone could even catch their breath, the sordid deeds of Meredith were suddenly laid bare for all to see. It turned out that he had fallen in with a bad crowd, participated in muggings, assaulted people to the point of grievous injury, raped young women, and had even been involved in a hit-and-run that claimed the life of an elderly person. All these incidents were things Maureen had kept from her husband, dealing with them in secret to keep her son out of trouble. As shock rippled through the crowd, they also learned about Catherine's plagiarism of QY's work, with a demand for a public apology by midnight or they'd face a lawsuit. Moreover, her bullying of another girl at school had led to that girl's tragic suicide attempt, and this too was now coming to light. It's true what they say, a rotten apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Kids are just like their parents. This has nothing to do with Rudolph. It's all on that wicked woman. She's spoiled her kids with her own malice. I can't believe Meredith has gotten away with such heinous acts over the years. Does someone like that even deserve to carry the Brooks family name? I always knew Meredith was rude, always looking down his nose at people, but I had no idea he was not just arrogant, but also so heartless. Meredith, standing to the side and hearing the condemnation from relatives and neighbors, was itching to rush up and shut off the video. But Dennis stood atop the highest step, watching him coldly, as if certain Meredith wouldn't dare approach. Meredith had previously learned the hard way not to mess with Dennis. Yet, in a fit of reckless courage, he bounded up the steps, intent on pushing Dennis aside to turn off the video. In the next second, Dennis sent him tumbling down the steps with a swift kick. The pampered rich kid had never known such hardship and rolled his eyes back, passing out on the spot. It seemed Rudolph couldn't withstand the heavy blow of the revelations and collapsed backward. Carol, seeing her father falter, leaped off the stage and reached out to steady him. "Carol, let me help," offered Alger, extending a hand. He knew that Carol, being a young woman, might not have the strength to support her father. "Alger, Dennis and I have something to handle. Could you please take care of my dad?" Alger nodded, signaling her to leave it to him. Maureen was already a mess, bloodied and battered, and Catherine had not escaped the fray unscathed, her face bruised and swollen. Carol dragged them to her mom's grave, forcing them to their knees with a kick. Dennis stood with a foot pressed on Meredith's stomach, and with a groan of pain, Meredith woke from his unconscious state. "Hiring a hitman?" Carol struck Maureen, not holding back in the slightest. "I'm getting justice for my mom today. She died without knowing that a complete stranger could do something so cruel to her." "Enough, look what you've done to my mom. Carol, have you lost your mind? If you keep it up, she's going to die. My mom's already dead. What right does your mom have to live?" Carol asked, her eyes blazing with fury. Caught off guard by Carol's ferocious onslaught, Catherine was stunned. Carol was supposed to be weak and sickly, yet she fought with the ferocity of a boxing coach. "It's almost your turn," Carol's words sent a shiver down Catherine's spine. What should she do? They were in the middle of nowhere. How could she cry for help? She should have screamed for help when Carol shoved them into the trunk of the car and took them to this place. She should have called out, had her relatives call the cops. Dennis was relentlessly beating Meredith, having harbored a grudge against him for ages. Meredith, terrified, wailed, "Mom, help me please, Mom." Maureen was too preoccupied with her own pain, cradling her head and shouting, "Don't hit my boy. Mama, help me." Meredith cowered behind his mother, trembling as he pleaded with Dennis and Carol. "The thing that happened back then was my mom's doing, not mine. Sure, I ran someone over with my car, even stole some cash, but I never hurt you. There's a rightful owner of every debt, just let me go. Whatever scores you need to settle, take it up with my mom." Catherine nearly passed out from anger upon hearing this. "Meredith, are you even human? Mom's getting beaten to a pulp, she could die. Why drag someone else down with her if she's about to die?" Meredith shouted back, "I'm the heir to the family fortune, I can't get into trouble. Please, just spare him." Maureen, already badly beaten, instinctively protected her son as she begged Carol, "He's innocent." "Did you hear that? My own mom says it's not my fault. Can I go now? I swear I won't call the cops. I'll pretend I know nothing about what happened here." It was then Maureen's heart sank piece by piece, forcing out a bitter smile. To think the son she had cherished for so many years didn't care if she lived or died. Catherine was equally disappointed in her brother. Carol sneered, "Mom, you see? The woman who hurt you raised a useless son and a daughter who's more trouble than she's worth." She grabbed Maureen by the few strands of hair she had left and dragged her to a gravestone. "You want me to spare your son? Bow 100 times to my mom's grave. And you too, not one bow less." Catherine and Meredith knelt down, their foreheads hitting the cold stone of the gravestone repeatedly. "I'm sorry." Maureen sobbed, seemingly full of regret. "I was blinded back then, and I hurt you." "I'm sorry." Carol's nose tingled slightly, but being strong-willed, not a single tear escaped her eyes. It wasn't until they had finished bowing that Carol slowly approached Maureen. "I want you to truly understand the pain my mom felt when she lost her legs." The three looked at Carol with disbelief and shock. Their apologies had been made, their bows completed, and now Carol wanted to break their legs. Was there no justice left in the world? "What you're doing is against the law." Meredith's plea was cut short as Dennis picked up a hefty rock and smashed it down onto his kneecap. The sound of bone shattering was chilling. Meredith screamed, the sound echoing through the valley. "Don't hurt my boy." Before Maureen could finish, Carol delivered a vicious kick to her knee. "Mom!" Catherine couldn't believe it. The once quiet and seemingly meek siblings were ruthless, far from the pushovers she had thought they were. They were downright lunatics. After crippling them, Carol and her brother left them with the driver's family, who, upon seeing Maureen, couldn't hold back their fury and lashed out with punches and kicks. The chaos subsided only when the sound of police sirens filled the air and the perpetrators were taken away. "Mom, may you find peace in the afterlife." Carol looked at the smiling photo on the gravestone, bowed deeply, and whispered her silent farewell. On the other side, at 8 p.m., Arabella and Horace made their entrance at the auction. "Which one, Sam?" Arabella whispered to the person sitting next to her. With hundreds of people packed into the dimly lit venue, spotting anyone was like finding a needle in a haystack. "I heard he's desperate for a kind of medicine. Whoever's hounding after the herb, that's him." Horace shared, his brow furrowing in confusion. "Boss, what's this medicine? What's it good for?" It was a strange name, one he'd never come across before. At Horace's question, Arabella's eyes darkened. "It's for tonifying kidney, interested?" "Why would I need it? My kidney's intact." Horace replied, only to then ponder, "There are tons of kidney boosters on the market. Why's he so fixated on this one? To the point of hitting up the black market?" "It's not just any booster. Combined with certain substances, it can boost a man's sexual vitality overnight. Ahem, but it wrecks the body, it's banned. Use too much and you get hooked, just like those illegal substances." Horace got the gist. No wonder it was a black market item, it had that kind of power. Wait a sec, how did the boss know all this? She's too savvy. The auction kicked off. The first item up for bids was some porcelain, the kind looted from graves, the sort that couldn't stand the light of day. Interest was scant, and the bids were even scarcer. Then came the herb. With few in the know about this medicine's purpose, the bidding was sparse, until at last, someone snatched it up for $2,800. It was a man in the back of the seating area. He wore a battered old cap and dressed like a blue-collar worker, utterly unremarkable. When the staff brought the payment code to him, he scanned it, grabbed his prize, and left. $2,800 for that ugly thing. Horace clearly felt it was a waste. Arabella stood up and followed, her voice low. "If that herb is turned into what I mentioned, it could rake in over 100 grand. "What did you say?" Horace's eyes bulged, incredulous, and yet he couldn't help but add, "But he doesn't look like someone who knows his way around a lab." Ever heard of teamwork? Or maybe he plans to flip it, sell it to some big pharma for a high price. Arabella walked down a side path, leaving the seating area behind. Perhaps wary of attention, Sam headed out the back door after the auction. The back door opened to a field of knee-high weeds, unlit and desolate. The darkness seemed to swallow everything whole. No sooner had Sam stepped out than figures rose from the weeds, armed and aiming at him. Steward had brought his men to catch him. "Who are you? What do you want?" Sam didn't know who they were, only that he was in danger and tried to flee. But Arabella and Horace quickly caught up from behind. "Take him," Steward commanded, and his goons moved in. Arabella saw them trying to snatch Sam and immediately took hold of him herself. "You again." Steward hadn't expected this girl to show up everywhere. "Are you in cahoots?" Last time at the Demon Ring, this girl had caused a ruckus at the boxing match, letting Sam escape in the chaos. Now, she had Sam in her grip. Could it be they were really on the same side? "Who the heck are you?" Sam struggled, shocked by the grip of the young girl. He hadn't expected a teenage girl to pack such a punch. There was definitely more to her than met the eye. "Boss, what do we do?" Horace was taken aback. Another crew had shown up, eager to snatch Sam from them, and they were well armed, while they were completely unarmed. Suddenly, a swarm of henchmen spilled out from the auction house. They were all under Steward's thumb, working together from the inside out, all to ensure they walked away with Sam tonight. Now, Arabella and Horace found themselves surrounded on all sides. "Boss, maybe we should just let them have him for now and we can nab him another time." Horace took one look at the situation and realized escaping from their clutches was going to be nigh on impossible. "Your friend's got brains." A smirk was curled into Steward's lips. "But today, none of you are getting away." He'd been hunting her for 2 days, and now she'd waltzed right into his hands. Tonight, she was going down too. "Talking tough, huh?" Arabella tossed Sam to Horace and struck fast. Steward didn't expect to be looked down on by a mere girl. The last time they'd met, he'd been lenient, sparing her his worst out of a twisted sense of chivalry. But not this time. He had his pride as a man to reclaim. He countered her move swiftly, and the two were locked in a fierce battle. As the others saw that Sam was with Horace, they moved in, hand him over. Boss, Horace swallowed hard, realizing all eyes were on him. They had formed a circle with him at the center, steadily closing in. He watched helplessly as they cocked their guns, barrels aimed straight at him. Horace thought of a phrase, "No way out." Even if he had wings to fly, he figured they'd shoot him full of holes. After Arabella took Steward down, she saw the crowd surrounding Horace. She grabbed Steward, took his gun, and pointed it at his head. "Move an inch closer, and I'll shoot him." The crowd hesitated, their nimble boss Steward, now helpless in the grip of a girl. And Steward looked beaten up, utterly pathetic. Steward had lost face. He had never expected the level of her competence was way higher than him. Last time someone dropped a smoke shell and she ran away during the chaos. He hadn't really confronted with her personally, and now, he couldn't only admit that there was always someone better than him, he underestimated her. Steward. No one dared to make a move, fearing for their boss's life. But Steward still had some nerve left in him. "Don't be afraid, she won't shoot. Today, we're taking them all down. What are you waiting for? Move." As soon as he finished speaking, Arabella pressed the gun even closer to his head, and even pulled the trigger, her presence icy and menacing. "Buddy, I'd shut it if I were you. Our boss here, she'll really send you to meet your maker." Horace, holding on to Sam, offered his advice sympathetically. "Maybe you should tell your guys to back off. We just want this guy, no need to end your lives." "This guy, we're taking him." Steward had already botched things up last time. He was dead set on capturing them now. "Not just him, I want you to as well." "You're overestimating yourself." Arabella pulled the trigger, the bullet whizzing just over his head, threading through his hair. The crowd gasped, even Steward nearly lost his composure. Seeing strands of his hair fall to the ground, he felt his knees weaken. He never saw it coming, that the girl would actually pull the trigger. Missed. Arabella pressed the barrel of the gun against Steward's temple once more. This time, it's for real. A collective gasp filled the room as everyone instinctively stepped back. They believed that this girl might actually pull the trigger on Steward. Horace thought he saw a glimmer of hope. He never expected the boss to turn the tables with such ease. Just when he thought they could make a clean getaway, someone made a move, charging at Arabella with lightning speed. "Boss, watch out." Before Horace could finish his warning, he saw a dashing rogue exchange blows with the boss. Their agility matched each other's, making the fight seem more thrilling than a Hollywood action flick. Stewart hadn't expected Sean to come to his rescue. He touched his temple, relieved his life was spared. Sean's skills were unmatched, few in the world could stand against him. Now, the Missy was in for a world of trouble. It was better to let her learn that there was always a bigger fish. Let's see if she dared to be so bold in the future. Oh wait, with Sean, there might not be a future. Arabella's fist connected with Sean's chest, and she could feel him stagger. Was he injured? Sean hadn't expected such power and precision from a slip of a girl, especially one so nimble. She was definitely not one's average girl next door. They clashed again, and soon Sean's strong forearm landed on the girl's back. Arabella stumbled at the hit. "Boss." Horace could hear the impact. It must have hurt. This damn man, had he never heard of chivalry? To strike his boss in the back. Arabella didn't expect this man to actually land a hit on her. She gave a cold smirk and launched another attack. Sean's interest was piqued. Who are you really? To escape the demon ring unscathed, to be a speed demon on wheels, and to have such fighting skills. Had his girl to be from some organization? No ordinary family would have a daughter with such prowess and courage. Your worst nightmare, Arabella shot back, landing another kick to his solid abs. Clearly, the man worked out. Those were some serious muscles. What's on your mind? Sean teased with a crooked smile, thinking about my abs? Everyone was rendered speechless. What just happened? Why did Sean suddenly sound like a thug? Arabella didn't miss a beat, striking his chest again, and Sean's face twisted in pain. He hadn't expected her to be so ruthless. Meanwhile, Stewart and Horace were also trading blows, and the others were scrambling to get to Sam. Arabella tried to help, but Sean was blocking her way. In the chaos, a shout rang out, "Sean, Sam's dead." All action ceased, and heads turned. Arabella rushed to Sam's side with incredible speed. Stewart tried to stop her from touching the body, but Horace knocked his hand away. "Our boss knows medicine. What do you know, huh? Step aside." Stewart had never been humiliated like this by a subordinate. What does knowing medicine have to do with it? Someone shot him. Go after them. I'll take him to a doctor. He's been shot in the abdomen. It's not a fatal wound, but the bullet was poisoned. He's beyond saving. Her words left Stewart speechless. Even though she was clearly addressing Horace, Stewart couldn't help but retort, "Nonsense, he's still breathing." His chest was still heaving with labored breaths. Stewart glanced at Sean. "Sean, I'm gonna rush him to the ER." Sean nodded in agreement. Horace stepped in front of Stewart, hesitating whether to ask if they should take the man down. After all, this guy was their only lead at the moment. "No need, he's a goner." "That's a deadly stuff," Arabella stated without the slightest intention of initiating a rescue. The group looked at her skeptically. Could she really determine the poison just by looking at the wound? That seemed far-fetched. But if it wasn't possible, why would she suddenly give up on Sam, whom she had been so eager to acquire? "Pull out." At Arabella's command, Horace immediately dropped a smoke bomb. Not this trick again. Stewart, seasoned from years in the field, had never seen such a smoke bomb, thick smoke that hung in the air, and a whiff that left him dizzy for seconds, unable to control his limbs. Sean reached out on instinct but only managed to grab one of his own men. Arabella had been right there a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, she was gone. When the smoke finally cleared, Arabella and Horace had vanished without a trace. They'd been slipped away from them once again. Sean's lips curled into a cold smile, his interest piqued. Find them. This time, he'd take the lead in the pursuit. Timothy was just stepping out of the auction, only to see Arabella and an unfamiliar guy hopping into a car, speeding away from the scene as if their lives depended on it. Meanwhile, Sean and his crew were hot on their trail. Suddenly, it all clicked for Timothy. Without a second thought for the royal necklace he'd just won at the auction, he stepped forward and said, "Sean, are you after that racer girl? The one from the light fleet? You've seen her." Sean's gaze fixed on him. "Which way did she go?" "I let her go." Timothy mustered his courage in the face of Sean's intimidating entourage. "She's my girlfriend." "I'd appreciate it, Sean, if you could cut her some slack." "Your girlfriend?" Sean sized up Timothy. Since when did this guy have a girlfriend? With the exquisite box in his hand, Timothy opened it. "This is the necklace I won for her at the auction. She really is my girlfriend. Why else would I bid on this thing?" He wasn't one to play the field, a well-behaved gentleman at heart, a fact well known in their circles. Timothy had once done Sean a solid favor, so this time, Sean didn't pursue further, considering it a repayment of the debt. "I'll let her off the hook tonight, but her luck runs out tomorrow." With that, he and his men turned and walked away. Timothy breathed a sigh of relief and quickly ordered his people to track down the girl's whereabouts. Novel drama. He had to warn her about the danger she was in. If she could trust him, he would protect her. En route to the doctor with Sam, Stewart watched as Sam trembled violently, seemingly on the brink. "Hang in there," Stewart urged. "You wanna die or something? Didn't you hear? You're poisoned with something lethal. Just tell me the truth about that fire years ago, and Sean will get the best doctors in the world to save you. We'll pull you through. Sean knows a whole roster of top-notch docs. 2 are already waiting at the house. Just hang on for 5 more minutes, just 5. Suddenly, Sam clutched Stewart's hand, shaking uncontrollably. "Stop shaking, man. Just tell me, who was it? If the docs at the house can't save you, there are others. Just spill everything you know." Stewart leaned in to listen. Sam's hands quivered as he pointed outside, his lips moving but no sound coming out. "Spit it out, man. Come on, don't you die on me, buddy. Hey, don't." Stewart could only watch as Sam took his last breath right in front of him, the grim prediction of that girl chillingly accurate. He was truly poisoned beyond saving. After checking for any sign of breath from Sam and finding none, Stewart had no choice but to call Sean to report. "Sean, he's gone." Dr. Lee and the crew were all set up at the villa waiting. Just 5 more minutes and we could have gotten him there. But fate had other plans, and Sam expired. Sean was taken aback, realizing that the girl must have had real medical expertise to know that Sam was beyond help and didn't even bother trying to save him. "So, he didn't spill anything?" Sean asked in a detached tone. He couldn't get the words out. He just kept grabbing my hand and pointing outside. I've got no idea what he was trying to show me. Pointing outside? Sean perked up, sensing something. What was out there at the time? Nothing much. From where he was lying in the car, he could probably only see the sky. I can't even tell if the moon or stars were out. Maybe he was hinting at someone whose name has any letter of sky or night or moon or star? It's a possibility. I'll have someone dig into his contacts again, see if any names stand out with those elements. And while you're at it, check who was around the back door of the auction tonight. Will do, Stewart replied and got straight to work. Meanwhile, Arabella had her own orders for Horace. Check who was near the auction at the time Sam was injured tonight, see who could have taken a shot at him in the shadows. Pull up the street surveillance, and if any feeds are down let me know, I'll restore them. Normally, there wouldn't be so many camera malfunctions unless someone at that specific time wanted to stay hidden, be it a person or a vehicle. You're brilliant, boss. Horace hadn't thought about following this lead, and he knew that anyone tampering with surveillance was trying to hide something. Lucky for them, their boss was a skilled hacker and this wouldn't be a challenge. Oh, and boss, with those guys potentially on our trail, maybe we should switch hotels for the night. I don't like the idea of you being unsafe. Don't we have that hidden fire escape we can use? Horace had mentioned before that by twisting the wall lamp behind the sofa, a secret fire escape would be revealed. This design was for celebrities or VIPs who wanted to avoid the public eye when staying at the hotel, allowing them to leave quietly via this special exit, which was exclusive to the presidential suite. Besides, if they wanted to go after us, they would have by now, Arabella added. Given Sean's racing skills, They weren't guaranteed a clean getaway. But everything was quiet, no one was pursuing them, so Arabella wasn't worried. Originally, she'd planned to design the princess's dress, grab the medicine materials, and head back home, but the emergence of the fire case was an unexpected twist. It was a good opportunity to delve deeper into the mystery that had stymied her for the past 6 months, stalling with no substantial leads. Come early the next morning.
For listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.